Hi guys, welcome to today's video. I am very excited for this video. So I'm gonna be reading some of my most anticipated releases for this year. One of them, my most anticipated release for the year, probably for the past year actually, when I found out this book was coming out. Actually, I didn't find out. I found out like, let's just estimate like 8 months ago. I found out this book was being released and I've been so excited since I found out. I'm very excited for this video. Let's just get into this. I'm going to be reading 3 anticipated releases. Only one of them I have so far. One of them is on its way and it should arrive today. The other one is coming later this week. But the first one we're going to be reading is Bride by Ali Hazelwood. This is the book I was talking about when I said the one I was most anticipating. The one I've been most excited for. And I'm so excited. I honored her today by wearing my Love Theoretically earrings, and we're gonna read this book. This is the worst intro I've ever done. I love how my Kev is just staring at you guys from the back. Anyways, so Bride. I'm sure you've probably heard of this. I think it's been quite popular. Ali Hazelwood is very popular. All of her releases lately have been extremely popular. Check in May, it was very popular. Love Theoretically was a highly loved romance book from last year and it's one of my favorite books. And when I found out Ali Hazelwood was writing a fantasy book, I was ecstatic. I was so excited and I was honestly like so shocked that she would come out with a fantasy book, because she had then only written adult STEM romances. But like obviously I'd love to see other types of work from her, other genres, other settings and stuff that wasn't just STEM, because I do not like science just because I was always so bad at it and I'm not a science person. I don't understand it. It's so hard for me to understand. It is also just really boring to me, to be honest. So I was interested to see what else she could do, how much I would like that, since I loved her STEM romances, even though I don't like science. So I'm like, if she did something like fantasy that wasn't revolving around science, I imagine I would love that even more. So I hope that little ramble made sense. I don't know if it did. I'm very excited. This is between a werewolf and a vampire. I've never read a werewolf romance. I have read vampire romances, but I know it's a marriage of convenience. I've seen really good things. I've tried to avoid a lot of reviews because I want to have no expectations, no thoughts going into it. I'm very influenced by other people's opinions and thoughts when it comes to books, and so I don't want that in my head when I'm going into this book. I think I'm going to annotate it as well. This year I want to definitely annotate more books, so I want to annotate it. I know I'm going to love this. Like, there's no doubt in my mind I'm going to love this book. And I'm very excited. I think it's going to be probably lower stakes and more just a fun fantasy rather than a high stakes, complex fantasy. And I believe this will probably be really good for people that want to get into fantasy, that haven't read any fantasy before. I think this would probably be a really good introduction into fantasy. I'm assuming, because I haven't read it yet, but I'm gonna start this book today. I hope you guys like this video. Let me know any new releases you're excited for, if you're also excited for any of the new releases I talk about in this video. And also, let me know what you're reading at the moment. I love talking to you guys in the comments. This community is amazing. You're all so sweet and kind and just everything. You're all really amazing people. So I love talking with you guys in the comments. So literally comment anything and I will talk to you guys. Let's get into this video and let's start with Bride. Yeah! Let's pick out our tabs. So I have all my tabs in this very dusty bag, and we're obviously gonna match the cover with the tabs we choose. So I have a lot of tabs. This is so ridiculous, but the thing is, it comes in like a pack of like 20 of these, and then I'll need one of the colors. I'll need 2 of them, so then I have to buy a pack of another 20. Like, well, I don't have to, but I do, so that's why I have so many. Oh my god, this is always so overwhelming. I'm gonna divide all of these up to try and find the most accurate colors, and then we're gonna we're gonna pick out the tabs and then I have to pick out a key. I don't know what that's gonna be. Should I even pick out a key or should I just do whatever? I kind of want to do a key because otherwise it's all mumble jumbled. Her name is Misery. Oh. So far, I'm 5 pages in and very confused, but that's to be expected. When it comes to fantasy, I don't know why I expected to not be confused. I will update you guys with proper updates later on. And another book I want to read in this video is supposed to arrive any second now. Any second now. We can open that together and I'm very excited. I made my little, oh my god. I picked my tabs. I only chose a few because I don't want to annotate a lot. To be fair, it's not the best I've done. Yeah, that's okay. It looks, it'll look alright. Okay, whatever. And I haven't picked my key yet because I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna read and see what I want to have as my key. Obviously romance will be one, and then I don't know what the others will be. Probably humor, probably plot, and something else, maybe quotes. We'll have to see. That is to be determined. It's gonna rain. It looks like it's gonna rain. There's like thunder. There's gonna be a storm, which is, oh my god, the perfect atmosphere to read this book. It's pouring, the old man is snoring. Is that how it goes? It's raining, it's pouring, the old man is snoring. There's just glitter in my eye and hair. I put glitter above my eyes, but it's fallen into my eyes. And I cut my bangs and the hair fell into my eyes too. Bye guys. It came! An Education in Malice. This is a Camilla retelling. Oh, it feels nice. I can feel the stuff on it. Oh my god, I can feel the leaves. I'm so excited for this. Oh, it's only like 300. The words are so big. This is quite a short book. Look how big those words are. I love that. What in the... This is gonna be something. This list. Ay, ay, ay. Oh my god, this is gonna be something. I just wanted to open that with you guys. I'm going to update you tomorrow about Bride, but I wanted to open that with you guys because I couldn't help myself. I really wanted to open it when I got it. Hi guys, so I'm currently on page 86 of Bride. So let me tell you a little bit of what this is about. So we're following Misery, who is a vampire, and in this world we have vampires, werewolves, and humans, and they all live in their own territories. Humans and vampires have an agreement. Not supposed to hurt each other, they're not supposed to kill each other, but it still happens. A lot of humans hate vampires, a lot of vampires hate humans, and then the vampires hate the werewolves hate the vampires, the humans also hate the werewolves, I think. I'm pretty sure. So like, none of them get along. But the humans and the vampires have had this agreement, and they send one vampire over to the humans, and they have to be a relative of someone very important. So like the daughter of, I can't remember what his name is, but he's like the president, I think. So Misery, her father, is like the president of the vampires. I think he is, I'm pretty sure. And so she was sent over to live with the humans when she was a child, and then the humans send over a human to live with the vampires, and they have to protect them and make sure they're not hurt. If something goes wrong, then they kill that child. So say if the vampires attacked a human, then the humans are allowed to kill Misery, if that makes sense. So Misery was used as like a prisoner, I guess, kind of. She grew up with the humans, so she is kind of disconnected from the vampires. And when she comes back to live with the vampires, like I said, she's disconnected from them. She has a human best friend that she made from all her foster homes. Her name was Serena. And so she decided to actually live among the humans because she preferred that over vampires. She doesn't understand vampires. A lot of the vampires think of her as a traitor, even though it wasn't her decision and it's something she had to do. And so she has been living among the humans as a vampire, but she's still tied to her family, who is very important. And then, okay, I feel like I'm not explaining well. Okay, this is such like a mouthful, but then it's decided that Misery is going to marry a werewolf, and a like marriage agreement between werewolves and vampires hasn't happened in a very long time. The last time it happened, it ended in, I think, a war. Like a lot of people were killed. It didn't end well. So it hasn't happened in a long time, but Misery's father wants to be in agreement between them. And so he says, Misery, you're gonna marry the alpha, which is like the lead werewolf. His name is Lo. This world is just so silly. I don't know, something about marrying a man that can turn into a wolf is just, yeah. So now she married him. She's now living with him, so it's a marriage of convenience. They are living in the same house, but they're not like talking to each other. Like they're just trying to avoid each other. The agreement is she stays there for a year under his protection, and after that year is up, she can leave, I assume. And so far, I'm enjoying it. I feel like with the male main character in her books, they come across very grumpy a lot of the time. The female main character thinks that he hates her, but it turns out he actually loves her. And I feel like a lot of the time it's very obvious, but in this one, I'm like very confused about if he like hates her, or I'm overall very confused, and I really want to see where this goes. I don't know, I feel like that was a very all over the place explanation. I'm sorry. I didn't spoil anything, but I feel like with books like this, I don't like to know really anything about it except for like the main aspects, like it's a vampire and werewolf in its marriage of convenience. That's all I really want to know. So sometimes I feel like I'm spoiling the book when I give like a synopsis explanation kind of, but I'm not. But like at the same, I don't know. I'm only telling you things that happen in the first like 10 pages maybe, but for some reason I feel like I'm spoiling it even though I'm not. Overall, I'm just very unsure about where this is gonna go. There is also a mystery happening with Misery's friend Serena. I'm excited to see where this goes. They sniff each other a lot. He's always breathing in her scent a lot, and it's a little uncomfortable, and she loves the smell of his blood. Every time they're close, they smell each other. Anyways, I'm gonna keep reading. There are some very cheesy lines, but that is to be expected in Ali Hazelwood's books. Also, when Misery was living with the humans, she would file down her fangs, And every time she mentions that, it just makes my skin crawl. I'm like, ugh. Like 2 nights ago, I had a dream that one of my teeth fell out, and that made me feel so icky. And she just keeps talking about filing down her teeth, and it's not nice. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Ah. Is this gonna be a series? I'm in the middle of eating my lunch, and I just remembered I forgot to tell you guys that today is Valentine's Day. I do not have a Valentine, but my mother did get me flowers. So yeah, happy Valentine's Day, especially to everyone that doesn't have a Valentine. I love you. I love all of you very much. Mwah. That's all. Hi guys, so I'm on page 240 of Bride. I am really liking it. I don't know if it'll be a 5-star, but I am very much enjoying it. I mean, I still have like 160 pages left. It could very likely be a 5-star read. We'll have to see, but it's just getting better and better. I'm really liking it. I feel like at the start I was unsure about the story, but liking it more and more as I go on. I think what I felt unsure about was the whole fantasy aspect, the world and stuff. I really like fantasy, but in Ali Hazelwood's writing, I was a little like not sure about it when I was starting it. But as we're getting more into the story and Lo and Misery are getting closer, it is getting really good. I like all the stuff we're learning about werewolves and vampires and how they're different, and I don't know, it's kind of interesting. I really like Misery's character. She, for the past few years, has lived her life without really any purpose. The only thing she cares about is her friend Serena. She's basically depressed. And I like that because I am a depressed girly and I want to read about a character that's similar to me, and I want to see the conversations we're going to have about this and where it's going to go and how that's going to change. And I'm seeing a found family maybe happening, and I'm really excited because I just love found family. And Lo has a little sister who's 6 and she's so cute. I really like her character, and her and Misery's interactions are so cute and funny. I love it. And Lo's character I love. I think in Ali Hazelwood's STEM romances, usually the female main characters are very driven by their work. They're very focused on that and not on relationships or anything else. But I find it interesting that Misery doesn't have that. She's not focused on work. She's not focused really on anything except her friend. I'm a little unsure about the whole fantasy world because I feel like it's not a very serious fantasy world. Like, it's not supposed to be some in-depth fantasy world with heaps of world building and politics and stuff. So I felt kind of unsure about it at first, but I don't know. I feel like the whole fantasy and vampire and werewolf thing just makes it so much fun. Like, it is just so much fun. I love it. And like I said, I don't know if it'll be a 5-star because I'm just not feeling as much love as I did for Love Theoretically. As I'm going on, I'm starting to love it more and more. It's so cute. I, without a doubt, will eat up her books. And I just love the characters. I always love the female main character and the male main character so much. Like, I don't know what it is, but I just like resonate with them for some reason. And Ali Hazelwood usually writes one POV in the female's point of view, which is like this book. It is just in Misery's point of view, but in the chapters, in new chapters, we get like a line from Lo's point of view, which is so fun. And it doesn't tell you a lot, it just tells you a little bit, but I love that. It gives you little snippets, which I really like. Please excuse how I look. I do my makeup and I do my hair. And then about an hour goes by and all of it has melted off because of the heat. It makes me so mad. And most of the time, the only reason I'm doing my makeup is for this, is for you guys. And so I get so annoyed. Anyways, I think I'm gonna do some journaling. I need to update my journal. Well, I honestly don't need to update a lot. Like, I just need to add in books that I've read, which is only a little bit, but I always want to update it. I still haven't read any of my 24 books for 2024. I don't even have most of these books. I should get them. Hi guys, so I did dye my hair. I dyed it light brown, but it came out dark for some reason, but that's okay. So I was planning to start the day by reading Bride and finishing it, but that didn't happen because this morning I was just really sad. I was just crying a lot about stuff going on in my life. So my little brother came over and I spent most of the day with him. It is now like 3 p.m. I think, and I do feel a lot better. I am now on page 288. This book had something I did not expect. It has like Omegaverse. How do I say this? It has like aspects of it in this book. If you don't know what the Omegaverse is, I am not going to explain it to you because that's just not something I want to do. If you want to know what it is, you can look it up. You will find out what it is, but it is like a sub-genre of romance. And I did not expect that to be in this book because I feel like Ali Hazelwood is very mainstream, if that's the right word to use. She's very popular, and I feel like a lot of people don't know what the Omegaverse is, and a lot of people who read her books read normal romance, if that's the right word. They just read, I guess, a lot of people that read her books read like contemporary romance or rom-coms and don't read Omegaverse books or don't know what that is. So I was surprised that there were Omegaverse aspects in this book. And I guess I shouldn't have been surprised because there was like a little reference to it in the... Why can't I remember what this is called? The little message the author leaves at the front for a person. There was a hint to a Omegaverse in it, and I thought that was just a little joke because she's joked about it on her Instagram before. But she joked about it when she was talking about Bride, so I should have known, especially since Lo is called an owl for werewolf, but I still didn't think there'd be Omegaverse aspects in this book for some reason. I don't know. I don't think it's really that weird. I think it's just fun. But I can definitely see a lot of people finding it really odd and not liking it, which is why I was so surprised it was in her book, because I feel like she was doing the same thing for so long with her STEM romances. She was doing a lot of the same thing. So I was surprised to see something different. But a fantasy is very different from what she usually does, so it makes sense. Anyways, that to say, I really enjoy this. It's a lot of fun. I have around 100 pages left. I think I could finish it today. I think their intimacy and stuff was a little too soon for my liking. And I feel like that removes some of the tension. I don't know. There's just something I'm not liking as much. But I am having a really good time. This is a lot of fun. I think the only reason I'm disappointed is because I expected really good things, which is my fault. But I think that's okay. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with having high expectations for a book I was looking forward to. And it's not like I'm really upset or sad that it's not as good as I thought it'd be, because I'm still having a really good time and I'm still enjoying it. It's not even disappointing, it's just a little bit disappointing because I thought it'd be like 6 stars. This just makes me so excited to see what else Ali Hazelwood would release. I'm just loving all of this content from her, all of these books. I'm so happy. I really sound like a Ali Hazelwood stan, which isn't a bad thing, but it's a little obnoxious. I like how I've decided to annotate it instead of going full-on annotation mode. I don't think I showed you guys my key. I did red for romance, dark grey for plot, light grey for quotes, which I haven't really used for quotes. I've just used it for just scenes that I like that don't fit any of the other keys. Like there was a scene with Anna and Misery that I thought was really cute, so I just put the light grey tab there. And then yellow for funny. I'm gonna keep reading and hopefully finish it today, and then we can start our next book tomorrow, which I am very nervous for. Also guys, I got something really cool. I got earmuffs. I feel like I look kind of weird. Do I look weird? I feel like I definitely do. I got them because when I go out in public, it's hard for me to read when there's noise, when there's people talking and stuff. I get distracted, so I thought these would help with cancelling out the noise, which they do a little bit. They don't a lot, but still it's better than nothing. But also I feel like I look weird with them, so I don't know if I'll even wear them when I'm out. I'm always wearing them when I lay in bed because they're just comfy. I got them from Cider, and I will say one downside is it's like bent at the top. How do I show you? It's like bent here. It's kind of hard to see. It's bent right there, and I can't fix it. Like I keep trying to bend it. Is it bent there? Where is it bent? It's bent somewhere. I don't know, but I keep trying to fix it and it's not working, so it looks weird when I wear it on this side. I think no, on this side, yeah, this side it looks weird when I wear it. And they're also vegan, so if you want some vegan earmuffs, I got these from Cider. If you were interested in buying some earmuffs. Anyways, I've never worn earmuffs in my life until now. Hi guys, so I finished Bride and I have very mixed feelings. So like you guys saw, I was really enjoying this, but there were a few things around the, I guess from 70% to 100% of the book. There was a few things I wasn't a big fan of. Firstly, third act breakup, terrible. I think a lot of Ali Hazelwood's third act breakups are actually quite good. I really don't like third act breakups, but I think she does them well to where I'm not hating the characters. The third act breakup in this book though, I really didn't like. I just found it annoying. Secondly, there was a big reveal at the end of this book where we find out a lot of information, and it just felt very rushed. It felt a little lazy in the way everything was revealed, and it was just so much information that was thrown at me that it wasn't as entertaining, I guess. And like there was so much information that I just started trying to read through it as quick as I could because there was just so much. I think I would have liked this book better without the whole mystery aspect. I think sometimes Ali Hazelwood's mysteries, like in Love on the Brain, are just not my cup of tea. I feel like she likes to add a little mystery into her romance books, and this is where she could really go into it, and it just, I wasn't a big fan of it, and it just felt a bit rushed when we found out what happened and we get all this information. And thirdly, I felt like the relationship was a bit rushed. I feel like it was at a good pace and then things just felt very rushed. It went from them being really close and having trust in one another and becoming good friends to them being intimate together and sharing feelings for each other very quickly. I feel like it didn't move into it as gracefully as I would have liked. I don't know if that's the right word. It was a bit unnatural to me, the way that things progressed, if that makes sense. So I'm disappointed because I had very high expectations for this book, which is my fault, but it was a really, really fun time, and I really liked the first 70% of the book. I really, really enjoyed. Just the end felt rushed, and therefore my rating is lower. So I'm stuck between rating it a 4 or a 4.25. I think I'm gonna go with a 4.25. The ending though, the very last bit at the epilogue was very intriguing, and so I'm excited for something. I don't know, you have to wait and see until you read it to see what I'm excited for. It's probably very obvious, but I had a fun time. It wasn't amazing, but I laughed a lot and I smiled a lot, which is all that really matters, to be honest. We're now gonna start on the second book of this video. You guys already saw it, An Education in Malice. This book I am also so excited for. Oh my god, I'm so excited. So like I said, this is a, did I say this? I don't remember. This is a retelling of Camilla. Camilla is not a fantasy. Camilla is a classic. It is the first ever vampire story. It comes before Dracula and it's about a female vampire. I absolutely love that book. It was so easy for me to read, even though it was a classic. I just enjoyed the story so much. In Camilla, we have Camilla the vampire, and then we also have Laura, who's a human. In that book, the author decided to write it. This is what I've heard, that the author decided to write it like that to show why lesbians are bad. To show that lesbians can misconstrue you and take over your mind and make you want bad things, which is obviously not real and ridiculous, but it was written hundreds of years ago. And so now people have adapted Camilla to be a sapphic classic, even though that's not what the author intended, but there's a lot of sapphic themes in it, obviously, and I think that's so fun. And I just imagine the author rolling in his grave while everyone is celebrating his book for being lesbian representation. And I could be incorrect about the author's intent. I hope I'm not incorrect, but that's what I heard. And so people have made adaptations of the story where they show the relationship between Camilla and Laura, and I am very fascinated with this story and I really want to read some of the adaptations. So this is, I think it's dark academia. Camilla and Laura are rivals. Camilla is possibly a vampire in this. It's not very clear. I don't know if she is, but it is very dark, so definitely check the trigger warnings. The only dark academia I've read is The Secret History, I think, which I didn't really enjoy. I rated it a 4 stars when I read it, but I kind of convinced myself a little to like it more than I did since it's such a popular book and it is a classic. So I think I would definitely rate it lower now. And when I think back on that book, I don't really think very positively because it was such a long book and I think it was a very important book. It is the like introduction into dark academia, but it wasn't that good in my perspective. But I'm very excited. I hope this isn't too dark for me to consume because I'm not a big fan of dark themes because they're upsetting. I don't like being upset. It makes me feel sick. Some books I've read, like the Plated Prisoner series, is a dark fantasy series. I've read the first and second book and there are some dark themes in there, and when I read those themes I just feel so sick. I enjoyed the book, but there's just so many dark themes that just kind of ruin my enjoyment, but like it also adds to the story. So I don't know, I'm very mixed on dark books. I don't know. We're going to start this today. This author, S.T. Gibson, also wrote A Dowry in Blood, which is a book I've been wanting to read for a long time and also a very popular book, so I have very high expectations. I possibly might go to the library today, so I will try to read a lot of this at the library. I'll update you guys once I get into it. Hi guys, so I'm on page 88 of An Education in Malice. I've only just realized what this title means. When it comes to so many books, I will read the title and know what the title of the book is, but I won't think about what it means until I'm actually reading the book. And then I'm like, oh my god, the title makes so much sense. Like, it fits the book. But it was kind of obvious what it meant. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, I'm on page 88 and I am really enjoying it. I love the writing. The writing is so beautiful. It captures, I don't know, like the writing of Camilla and the writing of this book just go together so well. And I don't know if this is how the author usually writes, but I feel like if it is, this is a perfect author for a Camilla retelling because something about the writing is just so perfect. But it's not a classic, it's modern, so it's easier to understand, even though there are a few words I don't understand that I've had to look up, but that's to be expected. This is very much dark academia. So basically, I'm going to give a very, very brief synopsis. So we get the point of views of Laura and Camilla. Laura moved from Mississippi, where she lived in a small town. I think she was planning to be a priest. I could be wrong, but I think she was studying to be a priest. Let me see. I don't know religion very well because I'm not religious, so I don't feel very confident saying anything about religion. She wanted to become a small town parish priest, but she likes to write and her father wants her to develop her skills and to be in the company of other girls her age. So she goes to this college in Massachusetts and she studies writing, and she does this poetry class that Camilla is also in, and that's where they meet. Camilla is a senior, I think. I don't know. All the like freshman, senior, all that stuff for high schools and colleges in America are very confusing to me. I think she's a senior, so she's going to graduate. And then Laura is a freshman, I think. And their teacher is D. LaFontaine, and she is very odd. She has like this otherworldly presence. She looks stunning, beautiful. She looks like a figment of their imagination, and she has this very different style of teaching, and Camilla is treated as her favorite. Laura was accepted into this class when usually freshmen aren't, but her work impressed the professor so much that she was allowed into this class. And so now Laura is, was I saying Laura? Laura is getting the attention of the professor, and Camilla is very jealous. They are now kind of rivals, but there's a lot of tension. Laura is kind of obsessed with Camilla and just her presence and everything about her. Camilla, I'm not as sure how she thinks about Laura. She says she hates Laura for being so good at writing, for being there, but she also can't stop thinking about her, stuff like that. So it's like a rivals to lovers situation, but I don't know if this is going to end up in a relationship. Like, what's going to happen here? Is this going to end really badly? I don't know. And then there's the professor who is very much abusing her power. I will say very, 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 very much abusing her power, and I'm very scared for some things that could happen. There were some things that were hinted towards, and that terrifies me, and I hope that doesn't go any further, but you never know. This is dark academia. Like I said, the writing, so beautiful. All of my tabs so far, like, look at all that. I've underlined so much. Some words I don't understand, I've written like the definitions. And I am also not really a big fan of poetry just because it's just too much for me sometimes. Like, it takes too much brain power to understand what they're saying. But this isn't like full of poetry. The writing is very well done. We do get little snippets of poetry throughout the book, which I like, and it adds more to the story. But like I said, I'm not a big fan of poetry just because it's hard for me to understand. I don't know if that means I'm not very smart. I think I'm smart, but poetry is just something that my brain just can't comprehend very well, so I don't know. I think this book is connected to A Diary of Blood. I'm not sure how, and I don't think you have to read them in order at all, but I'm gonna try and get to page 150 to 200 today because I'm hoping to get it finished tomorrow. I've just flipped to one page where I've just written, "This is grooming." If that tells you anything about the professor. Oh, yuck. This could very, very, very likely be a 5-star book, which will be my first 5-star book of the year. Wow. guys. So I finished an I finished an education in Malice. This is getting a 5 stars. This was so good. I finished it a few minutes ago, and the last, I guess, 40 pages I had to read in like 10-page increments because it was just so much for me to take in. I don't know. I definitely read this book a lot slower than I would have liked. I think it took me, I started this book on maybe Wednesday and it's now Sunday, so this took me quite a while to read, but I feel like there was so much for me to take in, and I read it at the pace that I did, but I still feel guilty about not reading it quickly, which is just how I feel all the time when it comes to reading. Anyways, that's unrelated, but this book I loved so much. It was so good. This was everything I wanted in a Camilla retelling, and it brought my love for Camilla back, because not that I've stopped loving it, but I've stopped thinking about it as much since I read it a year ago now. So I don't think about it as much, but it like brought back so many memories of that book and my love for it, everything. My love for vampires. I guess I'm not really a big lover of vampires in particular, but there's some vampire media that I really love. Actually, I say that like there's a lot, but there's just Camilla, and then Marceline from Vampire Time has been one of my from Adventure Time. Marceline from Adventure Time has been one of my favorite characters since I was a child, and so I feel like there's some like vampire fondness I have. I don't know what I'm saying anymore, but like it brought back so much of my love for that book, and this was done so well, and it feels like a modern classic, which doesn't make sense. I know, because classic is like a book that was written a long time ago that has been loved through time, that has been annotated. So saying this is a modern classic doesn't make sense, but what I mean by saying this is a modern classic is it feels like a classic written now. That didn't make sense either, but it feels like a classic I can understand, a classic that's modernized. The writing was so beautiful. It felt like it was taken from a classic and then modified for people now to understand. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but it was so good. And literally every single one of these tabs is a quote. Every single one is a quote I underlined, I put in a tab. Actually, there were some pages where I underlined multiple quotes and then only put one tab. So there is more quotes in this book that I underlined than tabs. It was so good. It was also a lot for me to read. Like there was so much I had to take in, so much going through my head, and I really want to write a really, really, really good, well-written review on this book, but I know that's going to take me some time. So if you want to see that, that will be on my... Also, this is me scratching myself. I don't have like a rash or something, but I always have marks on my chest because I'm itchy. I don't know. Okay. Anyways, my Instagram, Books with Maddie with 2 Y's at the end. I will put up a review at some point, but I post on there a lot. I have my bride review up, so you can see that. You can see my thoughts more structured and put together, because sometimes I feel like I'm just rambling on here, not making any sense. If you want to see like my structured thoughts, but I post on there a lot about reviews and everything. So if you want to see my review, my full review for this book, I'll post that at some point on my Instagram. But I don't want to say a lot on here because I don't want to spoil anything, and I think this is such a perfect book to go into not knowing a lot about it. I feel like that gives you the best experience. And I forgot to mention it's set in the late 1960s, which is such a good time period, I feel like, for this book. The dark themes in this book weren't too much for me. I like how dark it was. I mean, there were still parts in this book that grossed me out, but I think it's important to remember not to romanticize the professor relationship in this. It was inappropriate, but it wasn't extremely inappropriate. It wasn't, it was more like mother and daughter inappropriate relationship with a little bit of something, but I'm not romanticizing that. I think it's disgusting and bad and gross, but it did not go to really extreme lengths. I feel like it didn't go to the lengths that would have made me throw up, and throw the book. It didn't go that far, but it was still gross, and please do not romanticize it. I think that goes without saying, but you know what happens. I mean, I see on TikTok people romanticizing student and teacher relationships all the time. So I feel like it should be said not to romanticize that. I don't know. It seems ridiculous to me. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. You guys know that by now. Such a beautiful Camilla retelling. I highly recommend this book, especially if you've read Camilla. I highly recommend you to read Camilla. If you've never read a classic, I think Camilla is a really, really, really good classic for you to start out with because it was really, really more digestible than other classics. It is also extremely short. I think it's like 150 pages, and it is okay to not read classics like quickly and stuff. Like, you can read other books at the same time. You can read a few pages of a classic. Like, you can read a few pages of Camilla a day. Like, even a few is okay while you're reading another book. I think Camilla is a really good classic to start out with. So if you like Camilla, definitely read this book. If you haven't read Camilla, you can also definitely read this book, and it's really, really good. I mean, you can read this first and then read Camilla. I don't know. It's up to you. But I'm very happy that I really like this book. Let's get into our last book of the video. We are going to read, I don't think I told you guys I was going to read this, but we're going to read Fangirl Down by Tessa Bailey. This is probably the least anticipated. That also makes it kind of the least stressful in a way, because there's not really high expectations, but this has the chance of being a 5 stars. It could be maybe a 3 stars. I don't know. We'll have to see. But Tessa Bailey's books, I usually read really fast. They're really digestible for me. I've read 4 of her books. The first 3 I read were 5 stars. It Happened One Summer, Hook, Line and Sinker, Unfortunately Yours. I specifically chose to read her books that were the most liked. She has a lot of mixed reviews, but those 3 books were the most liked and I loved all of them. And then I read Make Me, which is a very old release by her. Didn't really like that. I think I rated like a 3.5 or something. I wasn't really that surprised because a lot of her old books get very bad reviews. But this one, I haven't heard a single thing about it. I mean, I didn't even hear anyone talk about it. How did I find out? I think I randomly went on Tessa Bailey's Instagram and saw that it was coming out. But I am excited because I feel like this is just a less stressful book. And I feel like reading 2 anticipated reads in a row is kind of stressful. They were my most anticipated. Now I can just have fun. I mean, like, I had fun with those, but like, there's no stress about being disappointed, you know? So this book is a golf romance. I think this is her first sport romance, and I haven't heard of a golf romance before. I mean, it probably exists, but I haven't really heard of it. So the guy, Wells, is a golf star, but he started doing some bad things. He started getting a bad reputation, and he started losing supporters. People stopped having faith in him. He was going down a bad path, and he had one supporter who is the female main character in this book, Josephine. She was always there at his shows. She was like his #1 fan. And when he started losing supporters, she was still there until eventually she stopped showing up for him too. And that's when he realizes he needs to get his act together, and he seeks out her and asks her to be his caddy, which, from my understanding, it's like the person who helps out the golf player. Like, they carry around his golf stickies, golf sticks. I don't know what it's called, but like the golf sticks that they go boom with. The caddy will like bring that with him, I think, and like give him pointers. But I'm assuming she's not gonna do that because I don't think she knows anything about golf, but maybe I'm wrong. But I think they just like, they're like their assistant, I guess, on the field. And yeah, it's Grumpy X Sunshine. I'm excited. I think Tessa Bailey does a really good Grumpy X Sunshine. She's a redhead. We love that. I don't know, this sounds really good, but I'm very much also scared because Tessa Bailey is unpredictable and she pops out books like every 3 months, so I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna start this probably later today after I feel, I don't know, I just feel like finishing this book was a lot, so I'm gonna start this a little later and give you some updates. And yeah, I'm excited and tired.
all about? Lights, please.
Hi guys, so I'm on page 46 of Fangirl Down and sorry, my cat's being cute. And I'm really liking it. We got into the story pretty quickly, which I was surprised about, but I like that. I like that we got into it very quickly. I feel like a lot of romance books have a bit of like an introduction that kind of take a while before we get into the proper story, but this got into it very quickly. What is that? There's like is that from me or is that already there? What is that? Anyways, there's not much more to add on about what this book is about from what I already said, but Josephine is Wells' #1 fan. Every time he visits her town, she goes and sees and she makes herself very known. She always stands by him, always supports him, and she has been for years. And then over the past 2 years, his career has like tanked. He's been doing really poorly. He's been drinking constantly, getting in fights, and it's very clear that he's not doing well at all mentally. Josephine still supports him, still goes to his games, and then at this one game he does a terrible shot and he decides he's just gonna quit. And everyone watching him leaves, and then there's only Josephine left. He tells her, I'm quitting, this is over, I can't do this anymore. And she tries to convince him to keep trying, and she says she knows a lot about golf. Her family owns this golf shop that has been passed down through generations and she currently runs it. And she's like, I can help you. And he's like, no. I'm giving up, I'm stopping. And he hurts her feelings and they basically are never going to see each other again. And as far as their relationship went, it was just her being a fan, and they would sometimes talk during his games back and forth, but no like proper conversations, no proper relationship between them. But he knows she will always be there, and that was kind of motivating him to continue playing, but like he gave up, he couldn't do it anymore. And then a few weeks go by. This also happens at the very start, so none of this is spoilers. A few weeks goes by and he stumbles across Josephine's shop. It's destroyed by a hurricane. She's going through a lot. She has type 1 diabetes. She's been hardly getting by with money, has no insurance for her shop. She doesn't have health insurance, all this stuff. She's really struggling, and he really wants to help her, so he offers her money to get her by for like the next year, and she refuses the money. And then he's like, what if I get back on the tour, the golf tour, and hire you as my caddy, and you can give me those tips and you can help me like you said you could, and that way I can pay you. And she agrees, and their plan is to get Wells back into golf and Josephine be his caddy. And Wells is very much not into the idea, but he wants to help her, and this is the only way he can think of helping her. And I'm really liking it. Their dynamic is so good. Wells is very grumpy and Josephine is sunshine, but she's also, I don't know, she says what she wants to say and she can fire back at him. She just will like go off at him for being an idiot, I guess. and it's very entertaining. I love their bickering. I mean, I'm only 40 pages in and I've been laughing so much and smiling so much, so I'm very excited for this book. I think I'm gonna really like it. Also, he is only 29. In the cover, he looks a lot older, I will say. He looks... Whoops, someone's calling me. I keep getting calls from people I don't know constantly and it's so irritating. Anyways, he looks very old in this cover, but he's only 29. I don't know how old Josephine is. I assume she's younger. I'm very much enjoying it a lot and I can't wait to continue it. I'm going to try and read a lot of it today and then hopefully we can finish this video tomorrow. This video has been going on for way too long. But yeah, I really like the representation in this book. I've said this a million times on this channel, but I love representation in books for chronic illness, disabilities, and so I'm loving the diabetes representation. I have read a lot of books with diabetes representation. Interesting. That's all I have to say. Oh, what are you doing, Jess? I'll update you guys a bit later once I get more into it. Do you guys ever get mysterious bruises? Because I do. All the time. I never not have a bruise on my leg. And I am clumsy, but I am not that clumsy. Maybe there's something wrong with me. There probably is. Moving on, let's read. This book is making me laugh so much. Josephine's trying to do her hair. It's not working. And he goes, give me a go. And she goes, you want to do my ponytail? And he says, I want to do a lot of things to your ponytail. And she goes, what? Gross. It's so funny. And he's like, that didn't come out the way I meant it to. Oh my god, the amount of times I've laughed. This book is so good. That's all. Okay, I have finished Fangirl Down. This was so exceptionally good. I am giving this a 5 stars. Without a doubt, this is a 5 stars, a 6 stars. This was so good. I can't even express how much I loved this. Like, my heart feels like it's going to explode. Like, I genuinely feel like this tight feeling in my chest from reading this book and how good it was. And I literally felt like I was in this book and I was in love like these characters. It was so good. And I'm so happy and so excited for the next book in this series. We got to meet the 2 characters that are going to be in the next book and we got to see them meet. And it was so good. And I'm so excited. It's going to be a single dad and nanny book. And I'm so excited. I am so excited. This was fantastic. Literally fantastic. Oh my god, my heart is going to burst. This was so good. Warning, it is very spicy, but the heartfelt moments, like throughout this entire book, it is packed with heartfelt moments and moments that just made me go like, oh, this is so good. Like, I wanted to cry so much. I don't know. I spent all of yesterday reading this book because, for one, I really wanted to get this video up today, but that's not gonna happen. It's now nighttime because I couldn't finish it yesterday, but like, it was no trouble at all for me to spend the whole day reading this book. I could not stop reading. Like, at one point I was like, I really need to drink some water. I'm so thirsty. But I couldn't stop reading. Like, there was a water bottle right next to me, but I just kept reading and I couldn't stop because it was so good. And then I finished the rest of it today. Literally, I finished it a few minutes ago. This was so freaking good. Oh my god. I'm so happy. Like I'm so happy. This was so good. The characters in this book were so good. I don't have any more to say. Just please pick up this book. It was so good. Please pick up all of the books I read in this video. I read Bride, I gave it a 4.25. I read An Education in Malice, gave that a 5, and gave this a 5. This was an amazing video. I love this video so much. This whole reading vlog was so good. All the books I read, so good. And I'm just so happy. But I'm gonna end this video here. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it, especially since you've stayed all the way to the end. Thank you so much. I am so grateful for anyone watching my videos, and thank you so much. If you want to see more, make sure you subscribe or like this video. And yeah, thank you for watching. Bye.